Thank you for joining us. I'm at the Fire Mountain Gems Jewelry Design Studio. I'm Kat, author of New Connections in Chainmaille Jewelry, and today we're going to work on the Latticework Flex bracelet. And this bracelet features the silicone rubber rings and aluminum. Let's get started. The materials you're going to need for this project are aluminum jump rings in a medium thick size, and in the same thickness, large aluminum jump rings, large rubber rings, and smaller rubber rings. And what I love about the rubber rings are the bright colors, the amount of colors that you can get, and how stretchy they are. And in order to keep them conditioned, I would use a product like this. And this you want to use by just simply spraying a little bit on it, letting it air dry, and don't wash it off. You want to keep it conditioned and then even put it in a sealed plastic bag after, and it'll stay nice, bright, and shiny for a long time. Let's get started. This is a unit weave, and we're going to need to connect a bunch of units together, so we have a lot of prep work to do. To get started, we need our bent nose pliers, and we're going to roll the smallest rubber ring onto the bent nose pliers and just slightly open the pliers so that you can slide in the larger rubber ring. And we want to be very careful here not to pinch the rubber ring. You have very gentle pressure, just barely holding that rubber ring. And you're going to very carefully slide the rubber without pinching the other rubber ring. Slide the smaller rubber ring onto the large. And we need to do that a whole bunch of times. So we're taking the tiny, sliding it onto the pliers, slightly opening the pliers to grab a new large rubber ring, and then very gently rolling it. Yep, and that does happen. Rolling it over. And we need 4 of these little tiny units per large jump ring. And I'm going to go over the counts that you're going to need to complete your total length. But just note that you need 4 per large jump ring that you use. Now I'm ready to go ahead and put these little units onto the large aluminum jump rings. And what I'm going to do is fold the unit so that I slide on just the loops of the largest rubber ring. So I'm folding the unit, sliding on both loops of the rubber ring, and I need to do that 4 times per large jump ring. 4 times. And once I have 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I can go ahead and close it. And you can always hide your closure if you're not sure about it in the rubber. We have 1 unit completed here, and we have many more to do. And typically when I make this bracelet, I have a bunch of these little guys first. When I run out of them, then I'll make another pile of more as I need them. I usually don't fill my entire workspace with them because they're little and they like to roll everywhere. But essentially what we're doing is we're needing to make a bunch of these to go ahead and connect them to make the latticework pattern. Again, we're taking a large jump ring, and we're sliding on the loops of the rubber. And we need to do it 4 times per large jump ring. And then you can close the ring. And then just arrange it so that you have 2 across from each other and 2 across from each other. It's like a little cross. Keep going. And move these around as you're working so that you have enough room to put your last one on and then close that large jump ring. The way this pattern works is we have 3 rows going at once, actually, in the way that these are all going to connect. So we have what will end up being our center row, and then we'll have a new row that's slightly on top of that one, and then we're going to have a bottom row that is slightly below that one. And as we continue this out and make all of our units, what's going to happen is we're going to use these medium-sized jump rings to run through. There will be 4 because we're assuming there's another star right here. There'll be 4 here, a connection of 3 here, a connection of 4 here, and a connection of 3 here. And we work our way out for the full length of our bracelet. We have many more units to make. We're ready to go ahead and connect the units, and where we're going to connect them is where all the gray rings are. Here in the center, these 4 gray rings have to be connected with 1 medium jump ring. These 4 gray rings have to be connected. These 3 gray rings here and then these 3 gray rings here are all going to get connected with a single medium thick jump ring. Let's go ahead and start the first one. You're going to need strong pliers for these little thick rings. And at this point, it doesn't matter as much which side you slide a gray ring on, because we'll line it right back up after we get this ring closed. So I'm going to start with the 4 that I need. I know I need 4. Whoop. Yep, and they do that. They kind of move around on you. There we go. And you're going to have to squash them down, grab tightly, get that ring closed, and then go ahead and lay it down. And basically I want to pull all 4 sides away from each other, forming a larger cross. And if the little rubber rings kind of turn themselves inside at the very tips, all you have to do is roll it back outward. Just roll it or pull it outward. And you want to line up these units again so they create that cross shape before you make a new connection. So we're assuming this is the middle here, and that means this would go here, this would go down here, and this would go here next. And it doesn't matter if you want to work doing a center, then an end and an end, or you want to work all the way along the center and then put your ends on. I tend to like working doing the center, then an end, then the opposite end, and keep going that way so that I don't miss any of the end parts of the rows. So we're going to go ahead and do it that way. And I'm going to pick up everything I've completed here, and I know that these 2 are next to each other, so I definitely have to go through those. And I know I need to add 1 more because it was a connection of 3. Doesn't matter where I add it because I can just slide it back into the proper position once the ring is closed. Get a good grip on it. Get it closed. Right, and then I just find that cross pattern again. So if it looks a little jumbled, I just start pulling on it until I can find that cross pattern that I had. It's starting to form again, and then I bring up a new unit and I make a new connection, but since I'm in the center here and I already wanted to finish the end, I just have to be careful where I'm at because I'm still going to need to add this before I close that up. So let's do this one first. I can pick up this entire thing. You're going to need to handle it instead of leaving it on a mat. It's easier to get through the rubber rings. Slide this on through any gray ring, because then we can always maneuver it back to the right position. And find the cross pattern. So you just pull on it, pull slightly, pull, and twist, moving the gray rings along the jump ring until you can see where that cross pattern is. And guess what? I have to go ahead and finish my center now, right? So that means I'm going to bring this a little bit closer and go ahead and put him on. First, I'm just going to go through the 3 that are closest together. Then I'll put that one on last. Squish it down, get a steady grip. And then lay the whole thing down again, reposition before you add more units. And you continue this for the length that you desire. And when we get toward the end, I'll show you how to bring it all together. I've completed my desired length working in one direction, essentially adding my center row, a side, another side, a center, a side, another side, a center, a side, a side, a center, making those connections all the way down in one direction. And when I end my piece, I want to make sure that I have basically like a puzzle that fits together. I need to have that one extra center ring jutting out just a little bit, the center unit jutting out just a little bit so that I can bring it around and it'll fit inside the puzzle here and make the complete pattern. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and start to bring that around. And in order to do that, I got to fold it, but I'm going to go through that final one here. And I don't have my 3 here yet because I need to bring this around, so I can't make that connection yet. I'm going to bring this entire thing around, and because I know that it wants to fit inside the puzzle, then I go through all 3 here in the very center. This is part of the center row. So I'm going to go through all 3. Just have to twist it and turn it on the jump ring as I push it through. Then I can go ahead and close it. And now it'll line up for you if you just slightly pull on it. So when I slightly pull on it, I'll be able to see what still needs to be joined. I don't want all this looseness here, so I know that I'm going to need to join these 3 together and then turn it over, and these 3 together with a single jump ring. So I'm going to go down through this one, the center one, and the other side through just the 3 gray and close that. Almost there. One more to go. One more to go. One more to go. Okay, now let's take a look. So I've completed that very last connection on both sides. I have a complete pattern here, and you'll notice these very end rings, yes, they can slide inward, but guess what? You can push them outward if you like and wear it, Or you can push them all inward, which I do most of the time, just the very ends. I push them all inward from both rows for a unique look. And it kind of keeps it just a little bit more compact and creates a unique shape there. And that's the Latticework Flex bracelet. I hope you enjoyed this project. Whether you make this to wear, sell, or give, join us at firemountaingems.com for more great projects.